try a morning or what have you, we can rotate. We're very flexible. So it all depends on the group. If you want to alternate and try a morning, one quarter, and evening, another quarter, just let Christine know and we'll pull the group and see who wants to try it and go from there, because it is difficult in the afternoons when we're, after work and everything. Everybody wants to go home and eat dinner and all this stuff, and not get on a call for the Commission for Minority Affairs, with the Commission for Minority Affairs. We're doing some great things here, and Christine's going to tell you a little bit more about that as we go forward. One thing I would like for you all to do to help us, if there's a particular topic or anything you want us to research or what have you to talk about in our meetings, please let Christine know, so that we're trying to get our advisory councils more engaged in what we do and in outreach in your communities. And also invite her to your communities and introduce her to a few folks. That would help us a whole lot. Christine's going to talk about how we've grown a lot since we started the AAPI group. We've done very well, and our names traveling around the state and among many organizations. So I'm going to let Christine come in and talk about that, and I'll come back at the end.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. DaCosta, and thank you all for being here tonight. Hopefully this won't take too terribly long. I did want to let you all know that we do have a new committee member. She was unable to attend tonight due to a work engagement she had to attend to, but she sent me a little bio, so I can tell you a little about her. So her name is Nicole Correa. She is an area livestock forages agent with Clemson University Cooperative Extension Services. She's based in Lexington and also serves Orangeburg and Calhoun counties. Nicole is originally from a small town in Hawaii called Wailua. She grew up on a ranch with a variety of livestock, including horses, sheep, goats, chickens, and geese. She also loves working with cattle. Nicole has a BS degree in animal science from Colorado State University and an MS degree in animal science from University of Hawaii. In her spare time, Nicole enjoys all things outdoors, eating at local restaurants, and attending rodeo events. She started dancing hula at the age of 3 and later learned Tahitian and Samoan dancing. She's of mixed descent to include Native Hawaiian and Chinese. And so far, she's been wonderful. I've sent her a few emails welcoming her. She's really sad that she couldn't be here today, but I think she's going to be a great addition as I've been trying to broaden my outreach efforts into the Native Hawaiian and Polynesian spheres. So I think she'll be wonderful in helping me with that. I also wanted to give you guys a recap. AAPI Heritage Month just ended in May. I think we had a wonderful Heritage Month. I saw a lot more events than I think have been around recently. Lots of good feedback. This is the first year that CMA has partnered with the Nickelodeon for the AAPI division. We did a film series that was really well received. Dr. Lee was actually one of the speakers for a talkback session that we had after the movie Minari. So we had some great engagement with the community. We also had, for one of the other films, we had Omi Salma, who's the executive director of Food Share here in Columbia. That's a nonprofit that packages fresh food boxes for the community. She was over the movie Lunchbox, and we had some great community engagement as well. It was really well received. I got some great feedback from the people that attended that were really happy to see a larger AAPI presence this year. We also had, CMA sponsored the Tour of Tea. This year, it was the first annual Tour of Tea at the Five Points Fountain. That was put on by the Five Points Association. Angela Young Sellers, who's the owner of Fit Columbia, she's the one that helped put that together. It was really her vision that was brought to life. And then the Five Points Association was the one to spearhead that for her. So what they did is they showcased 6 different countries. Tea is really a unifying factor within the AAPI community. So she really highlighted that. There was tea from 6 countries paired with traditional snacks that people got to enjoy. And it really just created a safe space for people to ask questions and really embrace the different cultures, food, and snacks to start that conversation. So it was a really good event. They're wanting to have that one annually. So I think the vision going forward, and hopefully we'll be able to sponsor again next year, is that they'll showcase different AAPI countries each year in their teas and or highlight the ones that people really enjoyed and would like to see again. So that's one of the few events that I've seen that kind of encompasses several different AAPI cultures, which was really nice to see. Instead of it just being, one Korean festival or Japanese festival, we got to celebrate a lot of different cultures in one event. With that, we also had the Make Us Visible South Carolina community launch event. That's really good. Again, that's a nonprofit that advocates for the inclusion of Asian American history in K through 12 classrooms. An update on that, Dr. Lee is also on that steering committee as well. I volunteer my time as interim director for that nonprofit for the South Carolina state chapter. The founders are currently working on drafting the first version of the bill that we can look at and hopefully introduce in the next year or two, kind of depending on the political climate. So that could very much readily affect the communities that we're serving. So I'm really excited to hopefully have some more updates going forward with Make Us Visible. I also had the pleasure of being guest speaker for SC Legal. They hold a webinar, so I got to kind of tell them what we do here at CMA and kind of, what's going on with the AAPI community here in South Carolina, which was really nice. I was also guest speaker at Shaw Air Force Base. So I've really been trying to, broaden my reaches throughout the state. This year I have, where is it? I've been able to do outreach in Greenville, Greer, Charleston, Walterboro, Sumter, and Columbia. So I'm kind of hitting the larger areas because the largest clusters of AAPI communities are within the Greenville, Columbia, and Charleston area. So definitely looking forward to doing more outreach in the Charleston and Greenville area this year. So if you guys have any suggestions going forward with any groups that I can get in touch with. Charleston's been a little tricky for me. I know they have a big, I believe there's an Indian American Association in Charleston, as well as another Filipino association. And I've not had any luck getting in touch with anyone from those communities. So if any of you have any contacts, I would love to reach out or maybe be introduced in person. I would love to drive out and meet anyone you guys can recommend. Let's see here. So Dr. Fenton, our research director here, he was unable to attend tonight due to a conflict, but he did send me some program updates for you guys. The state statistical profile for years 23 through 24 is nearly complete, and they should be ready to present by the end of the month. They're currently working on 15 to 20-minute presentations for the document and look forward to sharing those upon completion. So I think they're looking for more speaking engagements to where we can really highlight the research that we're doing here at the commission. So if you guys know of any speaking engagements that are really research-based that you can recommend, we would love to come in and talk about what we're doing here at CMA. The AAPI statistical profile is nearing completion as well. They're working closely with myself and the multicultural affairs team in disseminating the document across the state. So once that's printed and complete, I'll make sure to share that with you all so that you can send those out to any of the communities that you think that would benefit. Francis Lynn, who is one of our research assistants, he just published a research brief entitled Rocky Road, which is a brief examination of the travel conditions for African-American workers in South Carolina. This is a really cool brief. They just gave a presentation on this earlier. They have really interactive maps, which I'm really excited about, and it kind of shows how terrible the roads in South Carolina are, but we're actively working to fix them, which I think is great. So I really like that the research team is making things more engaging by adding things like maps. they show different clusters, they're color coded, they have overlapping maps, which is really cool so that you can kind of see the growth of what's happening across the state. So definitely check those out. We also, Alicia Hayes, another research assistant, she's working on a brief on maternal health for African American women in South Carolina, which I think will be really eye-opening. And I'm hoping that you guys can maybe give me some topics that you would like to see them research for the AAPI community. So going forward, again, I think this year I really would like to do a better job with keeping you guys engaged, and I want to use you to the best of your abilities. Obviously, you guys are kind of experts in your own communities and fields. So if you guys have any suggestions on how I can better use your skills, please let me know. Does anyone have any other comments before I go forward with any other updates?
Christine, did you tell the group about our most notable document award from the library for our research?
I can't remember if we mentioned that at the last meeting, but yes, Dr. DaCosta, do you want to tell them a little more about that?
Sure. Our research team completed in 2022 our first ever statistical profile, South Carolina statistical profile, and it got the attention of the state library system. And we won an award for that statistical profile, the most notable document award. And our profile, the book will be placed in all state libraries. And I think we sent 15 copies because one copy will be placed in the Library of Congress. We are really proud of that piece of work. It was teamwork from design to the data that was included. Folks, everyone roll up their sleeves to make that a successful publication. If you have not seen it, please go to our webpage. There's a link there. You can open it up and see some of the data that we included in that particular document.
And I just want to say with that, with the statistical profile in our research department, what I really hope to get out of it is that we're going to show the largest need within our community. And that's how we can get funding. That's how we can help those communities and make those connections and bridge the gap between a lot of our strategic partners. So that's where our research department hopefully can really shine in helping us find the biggest need for our communities. So again, if you have any research topics or if you're seeing anything in the community that you think needs to be addressed, please let us know. That's our job, to do that research for them, and to further our outreach so that we can help them partner with some of the other organizations around the state as well.
And Sharice just put the link in the chat for the statistical profile.
Awesome. Yes, check it out. And I'm really excited. I think the AAPI statistical profile that should be published very soon is going to be very eye-opening as well. That kind of gives a better look into the AAPI community here in South Carolina. We also have a wonderful event coming up. I know Jasmine Goodwin, she's our small minority business program coordinator. She's going to give you some updates real quick on that event coming up at the end of the month.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much, Christine, for the opportunity to share more about this. Hi, everyone. I'm Jasmine. Pleasure to kind of be on the call with all of you. As Christine mentioned, I'm the Small Minority Business Program Coordinator here at the South Carolina Commission for Minority Affairs, and very excited to share with you all our upcoming South Carolina Minority Business Summit. That's taking place Thursday, June 27th at the Brooklyn Baptist Church Christian Learning Center. It'll be from 9 to 4, and it'll be just an empowering day of workshops, panel discussions, and valuable networking opportunities for minority business owners in the state of South Carolina. We also have some great folks from the AAPI community that will also kind of be on these panels. So just kind of really excited to kind of share more about that, and hopefully if you could share with your networks or join yourself, that would be awesome. Love to have you. And I'm going to drop a little bit more information about that in the chat as well.
Perfect. Yeah, I just sent the flyer, and I know you've got the link to register. We were able to reach out to Karen Yip. who's a realtor here in Columbia. If you see any of her billboards, they're literally everywhere, or her husband is always driving the wrapped van around town. So she's a very big name within the AAPI community here in Columbia, and she does a lot of work with the community. And is really for small business. So I'm very excited that we were able to have her on that panel. I think she's going to give a lot of good insight. Also, that's another thing, you know, again, I'm Columbia based, but I would love to have speakers from outside of Columbia, you know, that are in some of the larger populated areas as well. So please, if you have any contacts, send those to me. Let's see, where am I on our agenda?
Project planning.
Project planning, yes. Okay, so we had an author roundtable event this last year that took place at the Children's Museum Adventure. It was a multicultural event. We had Nina Love is a Samoan publisher, in-state publisher, who attended, as well as Pele Hunkin, who is a Samoan author, who attended. That event was multicultural. So we had each of our divisions find an author, and then we had minority publishers there as well. That was open to the community. We had reached capacity for people registering. We had 75 registration slots available. I got some wonderful feedback from the community. Because of the feedback we received, we're hoping to have this be an annual event, or at least have it reoccurring more than once. So Ashley Owens, the African American program coordinator here, her and I are going to spearhead the next one to hopefully plan it bigger and better from the feedback that we received. So I know I've recently met some other AAPI authors. If you guys have any in mind as well, I think opening it up to the author space, there's a lot of different things you could do with that. There's academic papers that are published, academic books, I mean, children's books. I mean, we kind of had people from all different realms attend that event, and it was really good. So we're hoping to do that again next year. Ashley and I are also looking to put on a minority historical figure art expo at one of the schools in one of the lower income schools in South Carolina. We haven't chosen a school yet, but we're looking to find one that's willing to partner. Basically, with that, we would have each division give a list of historically relevant minority figures that the kids could research and learn about. And then they would put together a little 2D drawing painting of the historical figure of their choosing. And then we'll do an art show. We're hoping to partner with the Arts Commission for that, to where they can provide some judges to come and make it like a little fun contest. And then the commission will hopefully host a dinner for the winners, or do something fun for a school that maybe doesn't always get that opportunity to showcase the talent of their students, while also showcasing the many minority figures that have helped shape South Carolina and the country as a whole. Two that I would love some feedback on, that I'm still kind of working on planning. The end of the fiscal year is the end of this month, correct, Dr. DaCosta?
Say again?
Did the fiscal year, it ends this month, right?
Yes, it ends this month.
So all of the divisions right now are working on their planning for projects for this upcoming year. I really wanted to try to find an event that we could put on that's more geared towards AAPI instead of just multicultural. I'm thinking of maybe doing an AAPI speaker series for traditional and non-traditional career pathways, because I think that's something that's, I don't know, kind of danced around as far as a discussion. I feel like AAPI communities have a very traditional outlook on what a good career path looks like. But because we have so many wonderful business owners here that kind of took a non-traditional pathway, I want to make sure that students see, whether they choose a traditional or non-traditional pathway, you can be successful in whatever you do. So if we can kind of give them some insight, I'm hoping to maybe plan some speaking series with USC or Clemson for college students that maybe are unsure of their major. But I also think this is a topic that readily affects some of the other minority communities we serve. So it should be open to everybody, but if I can find a good AAPI student base that would like this as a topic, I don't know if you guys have any suggestions or any input with that. Any of my professors here?
well, I know at Clemson, we have the Asian Student Association there and a number of Asian student organizations, as well as the um, Commission for PETA or a PETA Commission. I forget the exact title, which is bad because I'm on it. But we have an organization there to kind of do a lot of the same things that we do here. So I think that would be a great thing to get in contact up there. Though I don't think we have as large of a API population as, say, like USC Columbia. I'm not sure about College of Charleston or any of the other universities and colleges in South Carolina, but I know we have that sort of infrastructure just based on personal experience.
Do you think that there is enough interest to where we might be able to find a professor at Clemson that would be willing? Because I picture these being kind of small discussions. I think when you open it up to a big event, it kind of makes people less likely to share or ask questions. So I would like to start small, and then if there's that one, kind of grow it from there. But yeah, do you know of any professors? Because I know Dr. Lee, you're in the African American studies, but you always integrate AAPI when possible. Do you think there's that space at Clemson to where we might be able to do that?
Dr. Lee is at USC, right?
Yeah, I was talking, Kenneth, if you thought that maybe with Clemson having those clubs and student associations, if you think there's a professor that's open to maybe having those discussions and giving us their classroom time, I guess is kind of what I'm trying to figure out. Because getting associations outside of class can be hard. If we make it part of a class curriculum or just a speaker for a day, that they can, give us that space, it's a lot easier to get kids involved or people signed up.
I don't have any names just off the top of my head, but I can certainly send out an email and hopefully people will respond. As we've noticed or noted beginning of the meeting, a lot of people are on summer vacation, so we'll see.
Yeah, no worries. I'm still trying to, if you guys have recommendations for dates for something like that, where you think it would be most effective, I would love some feedback as well. Dr. Lee, as far as USC goes, do you think that would be well received if we tried to do a speaking series like that?
I think so. And you can always I'm teaching my Asian American culture class again in the fall, so you can always tap in with me. I think with regard to a speaker series like that and the vision that you have for non-traditional career pathways, were those the same idea, that it would be a speaker series about non-traditional career pathways?
I would say, and that's where I think I need to refine it a little more, which is what I really, really would like your opinion on, is if we should have two speakers come in, maybe one that went a traditional route, like a STEM, and then one that went a non-traditional route of, small business owner for like a bakery or something that's not really seen in the API community as a traditional career path.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. So you think we should do both? You don't think we should just stick to non-traditional or traditional? You think it's good to have that contrast?
I'm not sure. It seems to me like the students are already kind of predisposed to that those traditional pathways that you speak of. So I get your vision. Well, I mean, one thought I have for an event like that would be if you want to bring students into it, that it might be worthwhile to try to link them directly to certain, internship or job opportunities, off the bat. And so if we could recruit folks who are actually actively out here recruiting students into those pathways, and then it becomes, a kind of more aggressive information session, that's a thought. Because I know that the majority of my students are looking for things to do in the summer that are meaningful and that are kind of, broadening their horizons, even if it's, and including, maybe opportunities at the commission itself.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. So
I know when you brought the literature for when the last time you were in my class, that was very well received.
Oh, okay, great. That's really, really good to know.
Yeah, Kristen, this is Wilson from College Charleston. I have good news to share. There's the Asian Student Association at the College Charleston. They're active again. I say again because they very active before COVID time. Now COVID hit, they like disappeared. But recently, they reach out to us, faculty members. They identify faculty advisor. So the Asian Student Association become active on campus again. In terms of the career path, you mentioned traditional, non-traditional. I'm not sure, but I connect you with that president. So do some survey. These young students, they have very clear idea what they want.
Yeah.
So you can communicate with them, say, hey, what you got interested the topic. Maybe you look at their preference, go from there. So anyway, if you want to make connection, I can help you out. Connect with the president of Asian Student Association at the College Charleston.
That would be wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really glad to see that they're gathering together again. I know that's been the case for a lot of student orgs. I even think there's a few at USC that are getting ramped back up again. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to do more outreach within the different universities here in South Carolina, because honestly, I think the youth is a great way to get the message out and to help with our outreach efforts. Hopefully those students stay in South Carolina. So that's good. So I will send updates for that, and I'll make sure to send an email out to the rest of the committee as well that wasn't able to make it tonight. And hopefully we can refine that a little more to make sure it's the most effective as far as getting a message out there. And then maybe we can throw around some ideas for some speakers that we all have in mind within, that are small business owners that went a non-traditional route. Because I think you're right. I think a lot of people already kind of know the traditional route with STEM is very successful for a lot of students. But I think if we talk about some of the non-traditional pathways, that'll kind of break that glass ceiling for a lot of people to see Asian Americans in a different space. Another one that I'm excited to hopefully partner with, this isn't set in stone yet, but we have a meeting with LLR, the licensing agency, next week to talk about a possible partnership as far as doing licensing workshops. So I think this is really going to empower the AAPI community to get licensed. They've shown interest in having a workshop for the cosmetology board, which has a very high Vietnamese applicant base, where language is a barrier. So I brought the idea of having an in-person workshop to where we can hopefully have live translation. So LLR people will take them through the licensing process and then having the translator there so that they can talk them through any questions that they have in real time. Because right now, if you call in, I used to work at LLR, and I know how frustrating it can be to when you get someone on the phone that doesn't speak your language or your English is broken. It's frustrating on both parts. So I just want to make sure that we can maybe have a safe space to where they can ask the questions in real time. And then hopefully, word will travel fast. And we can really show that, the state is trying to provide these language services to really benefit the communities that we're trying to serve. With that, I think translation services are something that's still fairly new, especially for the AAPI community. So I need to find out, for anything state document based, they technically have to be a certified interpreter, I believe. So I think we're trying to find out what exactly that entails, that they have to have a certain certification, if it's just any certification. So I was really hoping that Mr. Nguyen was going to be on our call tonight, since he's the president of the Vietnamese Association here in Columbia. But I think we have some great committee members that can help maybe guide my search for people that can help with translation services. But if you guys know of anyone that is certified for any of the communities, I'm going to try to really put together a document this year of different people we can reach out to when we do need translation services. I know we would really like to attend the Hmong Festival again this year. Jacelyn was able to go last year with Francis from our research team, and we had a hard time because most of the attendees were not English speaking. So hopefully we can have a community member. We're also looking into utilizing our iPads with maybe a translation app that we can bring to festivals with us so that we have something to, you know, communicate our message a little bit better. But that's where I would love to, if you guys are available. I know it's hard because a lot of you guys, you know, value your weekends or time away, or have normal 9 to 5s. But if you're able to come to any of the festivals and just hang out for an hour or two at one of the tents with us for booths with our community, it really is nice to see. And for the AAPI community, going to those different events is very beneficial for outreach. So really hope I can utilize you guys in that way as well. But that's really all I have as far as updates. As I'm going through the planning process for this year, if you guys have any events or, you know, anything in mind that you would like to see take place, please let me know. I would also love input on where are my notes? Areas of focus for the year. I know myself, I would like to focus on education, which is why I really want to, you know, go to the different universities and have a speaking series. But if there's anything as far as a focus area that you would like to see for the AAPI community, please let me know. And that'll help me kind of guide my funding for the year. It'll guide my topics for the research team here so that I can make sure that we're putting out good research briefs that are actually going to benefit the community and that will keep everyone engaged. Also, I'm still working on updating our handbook as far as expectations and guidelines for committee members. Because like I said, I really want to make sure that I am utilizing you guys to the best of our ability. And then if there's anything I can do to be more engaging for you guys as a program coordinator, please let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. If you have any events coming up, let me know. Again, I will travel to you. And I think that's another one of my goals I had talked to Dr. DaCosta about was, we don't do a lot of our meetings in person. So if I can come to you and meet you this year, I absolutely will. Grab a cup of coffee, lunch, sit down and talk, and see how we can better partner and work together this year. So I'll open it up for any further discussion, or Dr. DaCosta, if you have anything you'd like to add.
Well, you've done a good job updating the group. We do need to get our advisory council people involved in our community activities. So Christine will send you a list of different things that we're doing for the commission out in the community. We'd love to see you. And it is my hope that before the end of the year, we can have a consolidated meeting with all of our advisory boards and the commissioners of the South Carolina Commission for Minority Affairs. I don't think any of you have ever met them. We've often had our meetings separate, but this year I'd like you to have our last meeting as a joint session with advisory council members and our commissioners so that we can share what's going on around the state, as well as you could ask our commissioners some of the things that they're doing to help grow the commission. So be on the lookout for a date. It will probably be in October or November. And more than likely, it's going to be on Zoom or Teams, because we want folks to participate from wherever they are and not create any hardship for folks to try and travel to a particular location. So we would love hearing from you. It's always good being a part of this advisory council. We are hoping to grow it even more. Christine has done a marvelous job in the last year reaching out to folks. If you know of any other ways we can develop a strategy to get more folks involved. The AAPI group is a very culturally diverse group of people, and it's hard to connect at times. So we try to reach out to folks in the community so that they can introduce us to others in a way to build those relationships, because that's going to be critical for us to do, especially when we're doing our research. It's always good when our research team can reach out to some of you to get your input on something that they're working on regarding the AAPI. Or if you know of a community that we need to engage, let us know so that we can be out and about talking to folks. We're just trying to grow the commission. I believe that in the next week or so, the General Assembly will make a decision to put the minority business certification and contracting under the commission. And it is our hope that we would train more of our minority business owners on how to obtain contracts with the state of South Carolina. That's going to be a big initiative for the commission. They've tried this division in 3 other agencies, and it has not been successful. It will be successful for us because we have built a cross-cultural organization so that we're able to reach out to people that look like me, that look like you, and be able to have those conversations on how to do business with the state of South Carolina. So I'm excited about doing this. I am hoping to increase the percentage of minority state contractors. Right now, it's right at 10% of all contracts. And within a year, I'm hoping to get us up to at least 20%. And that's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take us doing some grassroots things, going into communities, talking to small business owners, getting them registered with the state, and having them attend the training course on how to be a contractor with the state of South Carolina and what the credentials look like. How do we get those credentials? And how do we bid on different contracts in the state? So there's a lot going on at the commission. And as always, it's great seeing all of you, but I don't want to leave until I know that you don't have anything else to say, any comments or concerns.
I'll just chime in real quick to say that I was able to make it to an AAPI focused open mic geared toward the youth at Richland Library Northeast a couple of Thursdays ago. Christine, you'll remember the librarian, the Japanese American librarian whose name just totally dropped out of my head just now, who was taping next to us at Make Us Visible. It was her show. And so it seems to me that if one thematic focus for us for the upcoming year is education, we should totally, think about using our public libraries as a resource and as possible venues.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yes,
absolutely. I agree. That's great. And it was open mic? What
were
they doing? Singing, talking, reading?
They had a karaoke session. They brought in a Vietnamese American DJ from Charleston. He was fantastic.
I love karaoke.
The Filipino American Association did they had a part of their dance troupe was there. It was amazing.
Very good. Very good. I love karaoke. I think it's a fun way to let your hair down. Anything else?
We appreciate you guys' work. It's good intention. It's really helpful. Another thing is I put on the chat. I see people want to watch that movie. I took my teenage daughter watch that movie. Not try to self-promote it because we share last name, but I think that movie embodies the first generation immigrants. They survive. They're inspiring. I highly recommend, particularly if you have teenage at home.
Okay. All right. Very good.
That's great. Yeah, I know the Museum of Art here in Columbia also had a showing of Liquor Store Dreams that I was able to attend. So we're seeing a lot more AAPI inspired events happening.
Exactly.
They also had like a silent disco and some other events for I think like art and drafts or something at the museum, which most of the vendors that they had just happened to be AAPI. So even through a happy accident, I feel like our community is really there and growing, and it's really well received with the community that's attending. So the growth that I've seen in the last year has been exponential. So I'm really excited to go forward this year now that we've kind of built some strong community ties with the larger associations. And we'll just build on that this year. So thank you guys so much. Does anybody else have any other comments or suggestions?
Yes, I wanted to share something as well. I wanted to share a shout out to Sunbar and Undercurrent Film Company. They recently won the 2024 James Beard Media Award.
Wow.
I just shared their Instagram account in the chat, but that can lead you to the short film that they produced about the owner of Sunbar and her sort of journey as a restaurateur, and kind of the struggles both kind of externally and internally that she faced in doing that. And so I just want to give a huge shout out to that. And it also kind of ties into the non-traditional education route that we talked about earlier, both in the restaurateur and the filmmaking categories, because the Undercurrent Film Company is AAPI run, I believe. So yeah, just shout outs all around for that.
Very nice. I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, that's great to see. There's a lot more representation within the AAPI community, and that's really opening a space for more conversations to happen. So yeah, it's really nice to see. I'm excited for this next year, Dr. D.
And we do need to look at getting more people involved in politics.
Yes.
It is going to be critical to get more people in politics who can represent the views of your communities. And I am all for training, getting folks trained on doing things like that. We partner with the League of Women Voters, and they help to train folks on how to advocate, how to deal with politicians when they want issues resolved or whatever. That is going to be critical over the next 5 to 10 years. We are going to need to become very vocal, and our numbers need to come up as far as folks who are elected to public office on all levels, local, state, and federal. That is critical. So if you know of someone who's active in the community who you think would be a good candidate to get involved politically, let us know and we will connect them to our contacts. We are a nonpartisan organization. We just teach people how to do what they need to do. And the League of Women Voters just educate you on the voting process. So if you know of anyone that you think has been outstanding in the community, please let us know, because I think that as we move forward with all the things going on in the country and around the world, we need stronger voices, and we need voices from the AAPI community involved in the political arena.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dr. Lee, are you running for anything?
No way.
You can run, I'm telling you.
I appreciate that. Your vote of confidence. Thank you.
You got my vote too.
Listen, it's a mean world, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. If there are no other comments, I thank you all so much, and we will be in touch.
Thank y'all.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Yeah,
Bye.
Good seeing y'all.
You too.